It's ridiculous. How's it going, Will?
Hey man, how's it going? Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. I watch your stuff, and I was noticing a while back you had like a particular emphasis on Kiki, as they call her, Keanu Thompson, and I enjoyed that. She's certainly worth looking at. In terms of like some of the stuff she says, and lately. I don't know if you are following the. I mean, I know you're following everything. This debacle. Uh, Apparently, Gino has gotten some kind of a, and I'm sort of limited in what I can say about Gino in particular, but um, that he is what he has to go to court in Minnesota or something like that. She's saying he ain't going. That seems a little unrealistic to me. What do you think?
I think he could not go if he didn't want to. I definitely think I don't think the court can extradite him from New York all the way to Minnesota on something like this. But maybe the judge could put something out there to where if you did enter the state of Minnesota, there'd be a warrant waiting for him or something along those lines. I don't know the power of the court at the moment. I was actually getting ready to watch a little bit of a potentially criminal Sean, who talks a little bit about this, and he's breaking down right now exactly what's going on with it. But it's a wild turn from these two, being friends and then mortal enemies and then back to being friends again. And then I tried the show and then now dealing with court litigation, civil litigation. And if I remember correctly, it's the state that's going after Aaron, not Nick. Because I believe I talked to Nick a little bit about this. And so, like, he is definitely letting them do whatever they want and is in favor of however they pursue Aaron to a T. It's like a blood feud, man. Like I've never seen anything so like Nick is like calm and like pissed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the most dangerous kind of pissed.
and he's a lawyer. So you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
all kinds of puddles that Aaron kind of jumped in. So it's been interesting.
It is nuts, right? I mean, like none of this happened when everybody was just doing stand up, and now it's like, everything has changed a lot. Court is like potentially involved at any time, and now this bullshit with. I mean, now I don't disagree that this is kind of like a. Yeah, I don't know how big of a deal it actually should be. The revenge porn, I think that where it's something that I think it was potentially criminal was pointing out before. That's Sean, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was saying that there is a lot of reasons that Aaron might have thought that they're exhibitionists. They go to hedonism. They're not really too locked in on this idea of being not exhibitionist. So, maybe he could have reasonably thought that like she wouldn't mind. But if, there's also this idea that, well, maybe there's another reason that they feel confident about this. Maybe there's this other evidence that shows that he actually did do it to be hostile towards Lady Rackets. So I don't know much about that, but I do know that Keanu has changed her tune on this a couple of times. Like, she started off saying, Kayla Ricada reported a crime. And now she's saying, this is bullshit. Nobody got hurt. So it's like, that seems like a pretty big turnaround to me.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of seems to be like whose team she's on at the moment. It looks like she's with April. And so wherever April goes is kind of where she goes. And I kind of get that too. Like that's her line to the whole thing, really. Like her real inside line. And so depending on the status of the throuple is where she is in relation to April, is what I've noticed in all of this. You know what I'm saying?
Really? You think she's been loyal to April, a loyal friend throughout?
Kind of. And then like wherever April kind of lies is kind of where Keanu goes, kind of thing. Like when April and Nick were still together, Keanu was all about Nick and was friends with everybody and everything like that. But as soon as there was like kind of breakup, when it seemed like there was a split, and you can kind of see where she jumped off that boat and went to another. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one thing she said repeatedly is that Nick sold the house out from under her, and it's like, what's his house? She was staying there free. I think it's okay to do that. I think it's okay at any time if you're allowing somebody to just stay in a home for nothing. You can go, hey, I guess the time for that is over. Have you found a place or whatever? And nobody knows what April's up to. If she's got any money working, who knows?
So from what I understand, she is working. She has moved to a different city. She may be seeing somebody. So that's kind of a
Wow.
little bit of an April update. But I mean, that's not like on a download. I think that's kind of been said before. But
I was not aware. My bad.
yeah, she's kind of, I think they're splitting up and doing their thing, but it seems to be amicable, which is, a decent thing to.
Saying a lot these days.
Yeah, because it can get really ugly as soon as everything really starts to come out, like when the civil stuff, those doors start to open up. It could get wild. You know what I'm saying? And then,
Well, how do you mean exactly?
well, all the stories that they have on each other, all the inside stuff. If someone gets angry at the other person, then whatever comes out, like with Aaron's stuff, like he keeps stepping on. He brings up Kayla in certain ways that like people don't think he gets or other people understand, but Nick does, and so he's like time stamping all this stuff. Like he's ready to go full bore as soon as he can when this stuff gets going. Yeah. So,
So wait, well, how will that amount to anything civil though? Because like, it seems as if like, I mean, there's freedom of speech, and like if you're talking about your own life or whatever.
I think the HROs were like he can't talk about Kayla at all.
Oh, okay.
And mention her whatsoever on his podcast. Little ways to kind of talk about her, but not really talk about her. And like Nick picks up on that real fast. And like another thing with Nick, he is fiercely loyal to Kayla.
Oh,
and
sure.
so anytime like he feels like she's been slighted or hurt anyway, like that's the quickest way to like become his mortal enemy kind of thing. Like he is.
Just brought in Douglas Nelson. Hey, Doug.
Hey, Pat.
I know you're a big fan of the toe. Who's not these days?
Well, yes. Who isn't? My goodness.
He is something. He gives us pep talks here, Will, and we're always grateful to receive them. I mean, if anybody should be giving a pep talk, it's Aaron. He is somebody who is. Yeah, I don't want to use any kind of like colorful language like cockroach like or anything, but I mean he does have a way of like stuff does seem to roll right off his shell, even though it would seem he's also very sensitive and very like touchy about certain things. It's odd. I can't quite put it together how he is. I mean, I guess what he does is just spin, spin, spin.
Definitely, he spins it in a way, obviously, to make himself look better in the situation that he's in. He's gotten really good at it. Something that, like, I keep bringing up Ricada, it's because Ricada tells me a lot about Aaron, kind of on the outside, and like he was saying that he doesn't think that Aaron's temporal lobes have developed fully, and that Aaron doesn't like understand how to think like in chess, like 3 steps forward, and he doesn't really learn from what he's done. He just lives in the moment. So like what's going on then is what he does. He doesn't pick up from what the experiences he's been in or think about what can happen in the future. And like that's kind of eye-opening when you think about Aaron, the things he's done, the things he does do. It's like, don't you learn? You know what I'm saying? Like you got kicked off the radio for all this crazy stuff and you still can't stop. I mean, I get staying with who you are and like staying with your concept and all that. I respect that. I respect freedom of speech. Don't get me wrong, but when the buck hits the road and they're not going to pay you because you can't be on the radio because of what you say, and then you double down on it later on YouTube and Rumble and everything else,
He doesn't think he's ever going to be back on the radio, surely. I don't think he's still saying that, is he? Is he
of course.
Oh, I had no idea. I thought he must reasonably think by now that, like, no, radio is, first of all, kind of done. Yeah, I mean, like, you could still get jobs doing radio, I'm sure, but I mean, it's not like before. Even when he was doing it, it was a ghost of what it once was. It's especially terrestrial radio, I think, and they just basically get an intern to do the job for a quarter of what the old guy did. I mean, he probably would have better luck interning and trying to get promoted just to get his foot in the door rather than coming in with like, I'm a radio guy.
I don't think he'll ever be able to do anything truly. I hate to say that like in an ugly way, and I don't dislike Aaron. I don't. I think he's an okay guy. I've never done anything ugly with him, or he hasn't really done anything ugly. We messed with each other and joked around and played and stuff like that, but there's no hatred there at all for Aaron. But Like for instance, they told everybody that I was dead, and like there's like a running joke between like some of his fans, MSO and stuff like that in his chat, and me. Like I had a pneumonia back in September, and they were joking around that I was gonna die. And like, and then every time one of these guys in his chat pops on MSO, he says, hey, Will, I thought you were dead or you're going to die or something like that. I joke around, like, I'm not dying. I'm not going to die. Aaron takes this thing and says, Will's dead. And then jokes around that I am really dead. And then says that my account is like a fake account pretending to be me. Like that's averagely funny. Like I can play off the bit.
Well, and just to clarify, you are in fact not dead, right?
I'm definitely not dead. Okay. He tweets it.
Okay.
He puts it out there for everybody to see. So I'm getting like Alex Stein is calling me like, "Hey, are you dead?" I'm like, no. Like people are like rest in peace and all this stuff. I'm like, no.
You know how people's career takes off once they die. I mean, this might be a chance to get your accolades and flowers while you're living.
That is true.
Yeah. Be dead and thought to be dead, and everybody's like, oh fuck, remember Will Heron?
Rest in peace. Got a lot of those.
Will Heron is not dead, but he must let the world believe that he is dead until he can one day control the raging spirit that dwells within him.
Yes, and his book will take off and everything. I mean, it's such a big, it's always a big career boost. I've been thinking about it myself.
The rumors have widely been exaggerated.
I think if I die, I might be able to get back on YouTube. Who knows?
Right? Yeah. Get an account.
Well, it's all a mess. I don't have anything against Aaron either, except just that he's, a lot of the stuff he does amount to some degree of dishonesty. I mean, to put it kindly, I always wonder how people manage the life they live versus the life they say they live, and make all that work. And I see everybody doing that, and I feel like I don't do that. I mean, it's like, I've lived a double life. All you got to do is have a wife and a girlfriend, and boom, you got two lives. I mean, I did all that, and I realized, man, that is way too much trouble. How do these guys manage it?
Yes, that old Irish cheers to our wives and our girlfriends. May they never meet.
Yeah, right. Or if they do, they'll both be naked,
Yeah, and dead.
And there won't be any lawyer around, I mean, I don't know how anybody gets involved when there's like, somebody ejaculating 10 feet away from you or apparently a lot less.
So, like, back to Aaron, like, going with rumors and things like that. Nick, did you hear what he said about how he had expelled himself onto April's chest? And moments later, Aaron came in and licked it off. Well, it was still wet.
Yeah.
It
was. He didn't even wait for it.
We know the story.
Oh, no. So according to Nick, and he told me this to me like 3 or 4 times, like it was like moments afterwards, and it was still wet and warm and everything. And like, yeah, Aaron came in and like Nick thinks Aaron has like a fetish with it, and like. He thinks it's like super hot and sexy, and like he said that April thought it was gross.
Yeah, it is, because it definitely is. You might as well drink a glass of spit. You know what I mean? Like it's way worse than that.
Yeah.
So Aaron like leans into it, and I'm like, no, that's not the one you lean into. like I leaned into being called dead. Like I joked around in the chat, I leaned into it. Aaron's like, yeah, I love that semen. I'm like, no, Aaron. It's like back to the temporal lobes. He doesn't think steps ahead. That
if you say that I mean, he's trying to own it so that people will stop saying it.
Yeah, but not that one.
People should realize that the things you own, are the things you most don't want to hear repeated. And keep owning it, you come drinking fruit, or whatever. Like that's what we're talking about. I understand your language is a little bit genteel, but we're talking about cum and a little puddle of jizz on the man's wife. Like first of all, a man comes on my wife. I could never even be in the same room with my wife again. Not really, not as husband and wife anymore. I mean, like the whole thing's over at that point. I can't imagine wife swapping. I don't get it. I mean, there's boredom, and then there's just like the hell with everything.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally agree. I've never been unfortunate enough to get married, but I definitely would never want to share a girlfriend or anything like that. If we need to be with other people, then we need to break up. And that's cool. You know what I'm saying? There are other fishes in the sea. You know,
Yeah.
everybody should be happy. Go live life. Don't kill each other.
At the point you have a girlfriend, you know, I mean, like if you're just, you know, whatever, if you know, if you're seeing multiple people, you know, whatever, I can kind of understand that, you know, because women will sort of naturally monogamize with you. I've found, you know, they're not, at least the women that I've been with, you know, they might be sluts, but they're one at a time sluts.
As they time out.
One at a time.
Be a little more grabby.
Right.
But ultimately, you don't ever clean up another man's jizz.
Not with your mouth.
Not like a fucking human Hoover.
I mean, what is it? April's getting ready to wipe it off, and Aaron's like, "No, that's my job."
You walk her into the shower and you spray her off like a real man, and you tell her we never talk about this again.
Take her in the yard and hose her down.
Right? Yeah, you leave. Like, we don't talk about this on the internet. Nope. Aaron's like, "Oh, I did it, and I loved it." I'm like,
you lay off and think about what you've done.
Yeah.
Aaron's like squeezing tissues, like,
oh, thanks, Nick.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Ooh, forever. She's not even that big. So, like,
yeah, just a tiny little guy, but his load.
Yeah. Her
goes a long way.
Well, yeah, and like, it's amazing to me that, I mean, first of all, how long does a load sit on a person, you know, before you wipe it off, really? I mean, like, I've never seen a girl that'll just willingly lay there until some guy comes in and picks it up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's plenty of blame, I guess, is what you might call it. Blame, aspersions, whatever. I mean, it does not seem like the thing. April really took a turn. She had seemed so conservative and Midwestern and, you know, not churchy per se, you know, but I think that was a boring life she wasn't really ready to settle into, you know, probably just due to her age. And then like all this, it probably didn't have to be this extreme, you know, if it wasn't, but like she just jumped on the first train that came in, and it happened to be, you know, the polycule.
So like Aaron was still married, I think, when he like cheated on with like April and things like that. So like I don't think April is that innocent really in any of this. I think maybe what you're getting is like monkey branching. I could kind of see that as well. So from what I had been told, and this is kind of like the story.
Plenty of monkey branching going on. Yeah,
yeah. A lot of trees. But it's a forest. No, but so she had like gone on a field trip with her class, and they went to like Aaron's studio.
Yeah,
where he was like on the radio, and I don't think he was on real radio. It was more like paying to be on a broadcast to like broadcast his stuff. But he would get sponsors to pay for him that would pay for the radio time. So I don't think he was like affiliated with an actual call sign. You know, it could be wrong, but that's kind of the story I get. So
yeah,
he meets him there, and then later on, like wants to hook up with him after hearing him more on the radio. And then that's when he leaves his wife, and then they get together and like elope basically to Vegas. So like when people talk about poor April, I'm like, you know, she kind of knew what she was doing. She kind of got in with what she wanted to do, and then she got on the program. She got on air. You know.
Right. I didn't so much mean like that she's I mean innocent is not the word I would use. I think she just made a decision that she's like, oh, okay, I can do this. I'm with just this guy now, and she hadn't, you know, like I mean, as far as women so wild oats, I know it's like not to mix the metaphors, but you know what I mean. She you know, she's a horse lady. You know, she hadn't quite settled down. Yeah, I mean, she's just a young, you know, girl. I got married when I was 20, and I just because I figured that's what you're supposed to do. I was from a small town, not that small, not like in like what's the name of that's like Shower Hills or Spicer,
like St. Cloud or something like that.
St. Cloud, right. Yeah. Whatever the little
Spicer.
Something Falls or something like that. Was it St. No, there's like a small town, Sauk Rapids. That's where I thought they lived. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's all garbage. But
it's all Minnesota.
Yeah. Oh God, the fucking snow, the wildlife.
I just thought the amount of cocaine that Nick got and just had on him, but like he like kind of explained it to me. Like, you know how much he had, right?
Not exactly.
26 grams of imagination. That's what Meme Kilbium calls it, imagination. But 26 grams, like that's
Yeah,
not.
I don't know the metric system. Is that a lot?
So like half a gram would be like $20 to $50 from
Wow.
wherever you get it. Like $20 if you're on the border, $50 to be a little further in. And then again, multiply that by 26 times 2 times, let's say 50, like comes out to a few thousand. And like
a Pinkman amount of drugs.
Yeah, but like talking to him and like talking to some other people, when you don't have it as near and close to you, like when I lived in El Paso, like it's everywhere. Like I can like throw a rock and get a dealer. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's proliferated because I'm right down the border. Anyways, like when you're in Minnesota, you have to buy in quantity and you have to like trust somebody, and then usually you get if you buy a bunch at a time, you'll get usually hopefully better stuff and associated with a better type of dealer, higher class dealer type thing, if there is a term. And that's basically what he was doing what he got caught with. Because a lot of people in like LA and things like that, they'll buy in higher quantities just so they don't have to go back to the dealer later. You know what I mean?
This is a whole new world for me.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it really is.
Well, when you buy in bulk, you get a discount.
I would assume so.
Yeah, like a Costco type situation.
Yeah.
Where, you can trust it. You keep your receipt. You can return it if things don't work out.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
all in your honor.
It's all very corporate at a certain level, from what I understand. I've never tried cocaine.
Me either.
I've never done it once. I've never played golf. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'll like it. And I know I can't afford it. So why involve yourself with things that are above my pay grade?
Totally.
But I drink coffee, and I know that 26 grams is a lot if it's cocaine. I've just learned that. That's amazing. And he had it all in his safe.
So he told me he has like a gun safe that he carries around, and like a briefcase kind of safe.
Oh.
And like that's basically where it all was at and inside, and that's what they kind of got caught with. Kind of.
A briefcase can be a safe?
Yeah. Like a gun
it's probably got a combination lock on the actual case.
Right.
But yeah.
You spin it open and it pops open and then light shines out of it.
Right.
Yes.
The cane goes flying everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a little party in a box.
Right.
It's
the best case ever.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, just pop. You start firing the gun above your head. And
Where are the girls?
It sounds like fun. Yeah, the girls.
You in there?
Puddle of jizz on her fucking chest.
Oh, no. Damn it, Nick.
How close was the jizz to her genitals?
Like I hate that I know like of the details.
I've never asked that question before.
Yeah, but like again, like Nick in detail, like broke this thing down and told me like it was like on her chest.
Oh, on her chest. Okay.
Yeah, and still wet, and then like he got off of her and like left, and then Nick came in, or Aaron then came in and went to licking.
If he's on top of her, but you said maybe she was blowing him.
I know he again. I don't know.
Oh, was he sticking? He couldn't be fitting her between the tits. She doesn't have enough chest.
No, he was going to Pound Town.
Okay,
and then finished on her chest.
World of Sushi. Okay,
there you go.
Yeah.
Drop the kids off there.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
And then Aaron's like, "I'm here, ready." Me.
He's under the bed.
Thanks, Nick.
Popping out like a Jack in the Box.
Did someone need something clean with their mouth?
Yeah. Aaron, we need to clean up on April's chest.
There's a little bell.
Clean up on April's chest.
Cleaner of jizz we've ever had. It's employee of the month. Like 10 years.
I kind of don't disagree with Aaron on like not wanting to be naked around another naked man. Nick seems to find that to be like kind of like odd. Like he would never be naked in front of me or what. It's like, well,
according to Nick, that he had no problem being naked around any of them all the time. Like not the kids and stuff like that. But Nick was always naked, had no problem with it. Aaron did. Aaron was only naked. Nick told me like maybe once or twice the whole time. but multiple times Nick was.
Well, they described this. Oh, Nick, right? Yeah, but Aaron is
He
the one.
doesn't want to be naked, but
He didn't want to be naked.
lick
He was
the
like
man's
worried about
skin.
something.
Well, Aaron told a story with great pride. You know that he was standing in the kitchen
He does.
with naked, and she's like, "Both of my men have great dicks." Like, oh god, that's just a way of saying Nick's got a great dick.
Exactly.
Because you wouldn't marry a guy without a great dick, right? So you had to include him on the compliment. But great dicks, guys. Thanks, honey.
Love.
I'm not the most buttoned down guy in the world. It just, when it comes to marriage, it's like that's when you've said, yeah, this kind of thing is over. And even with a girlfriend, any monogamy is monogamy. I mean, a 3-way is fine. If there's another girl involved, I can see where women should really give on that. But no more dick around, because they get something out of it if it's a lady. They